at the time we were talking about it, we weren't sure if they were in a relationship.
Right.
But now they're officially in a relationship. I don't know if that's a big surprise, though.
Good for them.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big surprise.
Hooray.
So they're hooking up and they're spending.
He said nah.
90, no. Anyway, she's spending the night at his house, and you know how that goes. So her ex, and I don't even think they're officially divorced yet. The guy from 90210, Brian Austin Green, was seen like days after with the model actress. I have no idea who she is. Courtney Stodden. Anyone know who this is? Courtney Stodden?
No idea.
All right, so this is like days after the breakup. So question is, how long do you wait before you start dating again? Right? This is like days after. So she's already, Megan Fox, his ex is already with MGK.
Yeah.
So
she left him for a guy.
Right.
I think that gives him the ability, an excuse to basically do what he wants. If he wants to go hook up with someone right away, he can do that because his ex left him for another person.
Right.
Generally, I think that men tend to jump right into a thing right away
because they want to get their mind off it.
Exactly. They want to distract themselves. Women tend to let themselves grieve the relationship and have that time, and then after whatever time, just different for everybody, goes into something else.
Building upon what you said, I think it's true. I think we want to occupy our time and basically try to make ourselves feel fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe good about ourselves.
And
try to hook up.
And that's why guys tend to, so when you end a relationship, you're going to grieve it sooner or later. Guys tend to just put in the back of their mind, go off and, hook up with people.
Inside.
And then weeks, months later, it's going to creep up, and then that's when dudes just start calling their ex after a couple months and doing weird stuff later because they pushed all those feelings down.
Oh, you're the guy that does.
And
like,
now they're coming up, and that's when you always see these stories of girls.
No, are you doing? No, it's not you.
I promise.
I promise.
But then you hear those stories of girls saying like, "Yeah, my ex, it's been like a couple months, and my ex keeps calling me and texting me on these things." That's what's happening. They didn't grieve early like they did because by the time the dude hits them up, they've already gone through that. They've grieved the relationship and they're ready to move on.
So you don't think there's like a rule? There's no rule about how long you wait.
I think
Nile?
I think there's a rule. I mean, specifically for the Megan Fox situation, what I agree with what Jessa said. He already saw homegirl move on,
for sure.
So he's like, I'm gonna go move on then. But I think like what Julian also means is like in general, what's a respectful time to like move on like with someone else. So I just think about my own experience with my ex. Back, a few years ago, when we broke up, I remember, I had like people hitting me up and opportunities.
How did you guys break up? It depends.
It was a mutual breakup.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
That matters too. How a breakup.
If she cheated on you, all bets are off.
Well, then, yeah, that's like I said. All bets are off. I'm almost positive Megan Fox or Homeboy, one of them cheated on each other.
For sure.
And it was probably with MGK.
Yep.
And he already got the green light to move on quicker than usual. But yeah, like ours is a respectful, breakup. We're still cool to this day. Like no like toxic things. Yeah. But I remember there was a time where I had like opportunities to like talk to other girls and like, get my mind off other things. But I felt like it would be hella disrespectful if I, did that and that's such like within the next month and a half. So like I waited like almost like 3 months or something like that before I started talking to them.
That's fair.
It's not that long, but it's
enough
long.
time to be like, because anything sooner than that feels disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful as hell. It's like, damn, like did I just break up with her because I just wanted to hook up with
How long did you guys date for?
Like a year and a half.
How long did she wait before you found out she was dating somebody else?
Hard
to say, right?
Because you don't really know.
You really don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah,
obviously, I only know what I know. So like what I can only have an idea of like how fast she moved on. I think she probably like contained herself or whatever you want to call it. Like
contained herself.
It sounds horrible.
couldn't contain
I can't think of the words. I was thinking about. I want to get a dictionary so I can broaden my vocapulary.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway,
talking's hard, bro. Talking's hard.
Anyway, whatever. Contain. I hope y'all know what I mean.
I get it. She waited.
I think she waited. I do know she did want to talk to the dude that she dated before me after we broke up. I thought that was kind of lame. But
anyway, it feels lame from your perspective. But then once you break up and time passed, then it's kind of open.
It's kind of open.
I had my ex dated someone immediately after we broke up.
But again, it depends on your relationship you guys had.
Was it a healthy breakup?
Right?
Lightweight. We dated for about a year and a half ish. Right? She broke up with me just because when you boil down, she just didn't love me the way I did. Right? That's really what it and that's fair. She just didn't feel the same after X amount of time. But then probably roughly around a week, she started just dating another guy. So
wait a week after?
Approximately, I think, based on my perspective, which feels messed up because she initiated the breakup. It's obvious that she was into this guy, and then I was there. She didn't like me as much as she liked him, broke up with me, went with him. That's disrespectful. And she should have at least kept it on a DL, for no one to know until a respectful time. But for her to just be that sloppy and you find out.
Well, but then that's kind of lying then. Well, I mean,
it's about respect.
Iffy, right?
It's iffy. It's disrespectful that she was just so open about it.
Definitely disrespectful.
If anything, if she wanted to hook up with this dude, obviously in general, it's disrespectful to Justo in some way. But at least let Justo think y'all weren't hooking up within a week of your breakup.
Right. It was and obviously now it's it doesn't matter. And if you don't care about somebody and you break it off with them, you're allowed to do that. But then and because we're breaking up, she's allowed to date other people.
Right.
But the time span feels icky, and you can't quite put your finger on it.
What's her name?
I'm not gonna say your name.
Why? I was just wondering. I'm just curious.
Her name is Helga.
Helga. Let's go with Helga.
Is she on Instagram or Helga?
I'm not gonna give you her information. So obviously times pass and it's you move on, but at the time that was probably the worst breakup I ever had just because of that.
I got a similar story. But here's the thing, man. I didn't date her that long. It was only for a couple months, and then
what was the longest relationship?
That's a good question, man. It's been a long time. Probably
under a year,
under 2 years,
year
and a half, and that was. I hate to say this, man. That was 8-9 years ago.
Word.
Yeah. I just don't. I know that says something about someone's character, right?
What about that relationship you had in from high school to college? Wasn't that?
Yeah, but that was.
Is that what you were talking about?
Don't say my age, but that was a long time ago, bro. You know what's kind of funny? Just because you kind of triggered me. There's these radio consultants.
What else is new?
Right. Well, someone said a radio coach said that I was broken. Does that mean you're broken if your relationships are kind of sporadic?
I don't want to go ahead and just call you broken.
That's what he said.
But I think that it is a sign of something. This isn't an attack on you.
Well, it's lack of commitment, fear of commitment.
It says something. You know
sure.
what I mean? And it's something that you probably should work on. Just there's things everyone should work on.
But does that mean someone is...
I'm on the opposite end. I'm kind of clingy. I'm the opposite.
You are?
I've always been in there was a period where I wasn't, but for the most part,
you are?
I've always been in relationships.
Well, you don't really call me that much. You're saying with the opposite sex?
Yes. Not just you.
Oh.
Trust me, there's been plenty of late nights where I wrote a whole message to you, but then I was never mind, and I deleted it.
Damn it.
Because I'm trying to not be toxic.
But I don't know. Sorry to talk.
But it's a thing to where obviously everyone has their thing, and it's something that you should look into. I always tell everybody I tell everyone you should see a therapist because I think that it's beneficial to everybody.
Therapy.
Yeah, but exactly. We should normalize therapy.
No, agreed. And I think
that's something you should look into.
But is that part of someone's character and just part of their story? If you're talking about it, isn't that like a good step? To say broken is kind of
broken sounds is kind of a harsh.
He was doing it to be a dick.
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, then let that be that. Don't take it serious.
Yeah, don't take it serious.
Anyone professional wouldn't say that unless they knew you.
Imagine going to
a long
time.
Don't know me. That's what I'm saying. It's only a long time. Be like, Julian, I'm
just
someone
talking.
You've been my client.
Yeah, but he just happens to be a big radio coach.
You've been my client for 2 years.
Whatever. I'm over it.
To be honest with you, you are broken, and we need to fix you.
That's terrible.
You would need to have a therapist. Dude. I'm just saying.
Imagine.
That's what I'm saying. The therapist would have to. You would have to be a client for this therapist for 2 years for him to be like, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. You've been. There's a vicious cycle going on. You're broken. And we need to fix you. and
That's
you need
terrible.
to pay me more now.
Yeah.
But
Just being
I'm saying,
told
that guy's
stuff
a,
like-
that guy's
Yeah.
a dick.
Yeah. Don't take it seriously.
You're not
but
broken, man. You're not broken.
Everyone has their thing. That's why I want to tell you that.
There's always things to improve.
Yeah, I think
on,
it's
for
just
sure.
sticking with
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
thing and knowing that it's for the rest of your life. I'm not saying it's like a concern, but it's like always in the back of my head.
What about it that bugs you? We're gonna get deep into it now.
The consistency.
I'm gonna be a
of-
therapist for
of-
the next 20 minutes.
knowing that it's kind of like, let's say marriage, for example. It's
Knowing that there's no way out.
I hate to word it like that, but it's permanent. When you think marriage, I don't think about a divorce. I think about it's going to be forever. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean,
Growing up, did you have a lot of I almost said disability. That's not it. A lot of what's the word? A lot of
Let me get my dictionary.
well,
a lot of like it wasn't. What's the word?
stable.
Yeah, it
Yes.
wasn't non-stable.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was raised by my dad. Mom didn't come in until later on after my dad got really sick. So I guess that kind of has something to do with it.
And your parents were separated.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
since I was like super young.
So
well,
that's
then
an
that
idea.
makes-
But
right?
there's a lot of
And I'm not
kids
saying
that
that's
have parents
I'm not
that are
saying that's-
divorced.
but it affects everybody differently.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
And it was early in your life, very very important
Yeah.
time in your life. My wife's parents were divorced, but that happened later in her life, and it
Right.
affected her in a way, but not as intense of a way as if it would happen when you're very young.
Right.
Oh,
And these are all things that you're not aware of, but it has a big impact on how you think and how you make decisions in the world, whether you realize it or not.
why do I need to pay a therapist? We could just do this. I mean, seriously,
could.
I don't-
It's
We
true.
could.
Just like I'll use myself an example. Also, he lived in a non-stable home, but that's why I kind of took it in the opposite direction and sought stability.
See, that's your
in
choice,
my
though.
own
That's a
life.
strength within yourself, right?
I guess so.
because a lot of
Probably
people-
it's probably mostly subconscious. He's just able
Yeah.
to articulate
Now
it.
I looking
and look
back
at
on it,
himself. He's
I
being
can see it.
transparent about it,
Hmm.
but it's subconscious. A lot of people are like that. Like they don't have stability at home, and so that's what they use with relationships with, and it can be toxic to some people.
Exactly.
So
Just like well, my parents they fought a lot. They never got divorced, but they were not good together. But then seeing that, I could have, as a kid, you see that you can go two ways. You can go the opposite direction and seek stability, kind of where I went, or you're traumatized and you grow up the rest of your life kind of re-traumatizing yourself and reliving what you saw as a kid.
because it's like normalized.
yeah, in
life,
your head,
so
you think that that's how relationships
that
work.
exactly.
And like a lot of people who
Right.
are into relationships, they have a lot of drama, or they have there's always something. That's because they think even they don't know it, but in the back of their head and their subconscious, they think that's how you're supposed to do it. And that's where therapy helps, is where you relearn what a
How
healthy
relationships
relationship
could be and
works.
should be.
Yeah.
Right.
You learn how to communicate, you learn how to be open, you learn how to trust. And that happens with, talking it out and working out and learning strategies in your own mind and how to go about it.
Right. It's
good to know, man.
I think if at the bottom line is like, you just need to kind of figure out what you want, because there's nothing wrong with not being married for the rest of your
Yeah, I don't
life.
think so either.
There's
You know
nothing
what I
wrong
mean?
with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. It just depends on what you want. Like, because there are people out there that are really cool and you somehow do like want to spend the rest of your life with them. When you think about it and it doesn't happen to you, you're like, that sounds weird as hell.
It sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy as hell,
you're
but
not
there
there.
are people that are like, damn, like, this is dope. This is fun. Type
Sometimes-
thing like that. So
Yeah.
like,
I get that.
you know
meet
what I
the
mean?
person,
So
you're
like,
like,
it
I
depends on what you want.
I just don't judge,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't judge people. I think that everyone has a different story, and some people have that story, some people don't. It just depends.
And that's
Yeah.
okay if you
Right?
don't want to
Yeah.
get married. Eventually, like I know people who, even if they're in relationships, but they just never got married, you're just like, yeah, we're each other. And like,
But do you ever meet people that just don't know? Like, I don't know. I just don't know.
You don't know until you meet the right person.
Right.
But then
Right.
here's the, I don't want to freak you out.
No,
right?
go ahead.
Because even if you meet the right
You've
person,
already freaked me out enough.
that's why working on yourself is very important before you even think about getting into a serious relationship. Because whatever baggage you have, you're going to bring with you into that relationship. So until you are aware of how your own mind works and you have to be aware of your baggage and how to properly take care of it, so that when you eventually do go into a relationship, you have the tools to build that relationship up and make it a healthy one and one that lasts.
Before you lay on that baggage.
Exactly.
right.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I tell friends of mine who are single, like, you got to, honestly, and it sounds cheesy now because people say it, but you just got to work on yourself and figure out yourself and what you're good at, what you're bad at. And that way, when you find someone, you can communicate and you
Right.
can work on it
It's a
together.
very Buddhist take. That's pretty much what we're talking
Hey,
There
for
you
sure.
go.
about. Human revolution.
Am I-
Focus on yourself. become better.
Honorary Buddhist.
I'll take
for
that.
sure,
Can
man.
do I get a medal? Do I get a medal?
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I was gonna mention that my story is very similar, but mine's a lot faster. Basically, dated this girl, was all about her, crazy about her, and it lasted for a couple months, and then she basically ended up it didn't work out, kind of like you, Justo, and then she ended up getting married.
Right.
She got engaged
right away.
Couple months after.
Couple months.
So the whole time I'm thinking,
well,
man,
there you go.
And
That's
then she was already with somebody. Like,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.